Welcome back to Jameel Cast, where we explore ideas and innovations shaping the future of our world. Join us as we uncover perspectives and insights at the intersection of purpose and progress, featuring voices from across Abdul Latif Jameel's international network of businesses. This is Alex, your AI host.
And I'm Omar, your AI co-host. Welcome.
Hello everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting stories unfolding across Europe right now, the rapid rise of battery energy storage.
That's right, Alex. Batteries are the quiet heroes of the renewable revolution. Solar and wind are fantastic, but without strong storage systems, the power they generate can't always be used when we need it. Battery storage smooths that out, keeping the grid stable even when renewable output dips. Europe's now realizing that storage is just as vital as generation itself.
Well, we've heard all about clean energy transitions, but this one feels different. The scale of Europe's investment in battery storage has exploded in just a few years. It's fundamentally reshaping the grid, business models, and even how we think about electricity reliability.
You're right. Just a few years ago, battery storage was seen as niche, something experimental or limited to pilot projects. Now, it's a key part of national energy strategies. Countries like Germany, the UK, Spain, and Italy are leading the charge.
So, Omar, let's set the scene. How big is this battery boom in Europe right now?
Huge. If we look at the numbers, Europe's total battery storage capacity has been doubling year over year. In 2023 alone, over 10 gigawatts of new capacity were installed across the continent. That's enough to power millions of homes for hours at a time.
That puts Europe's growth in perspective, but let's zoom out for a moment. What does this look like globally?
The scale is staggering, Alex. Globally, we're looking at 411 gigawatts of battery storage forecast by 2030. That's a 15-fold increase from 2021 levels. In 2022 alone, $5 billion was invested worldwide in utility-scale battery storage projects. McKinsey is projecting the global battery storage market will reach $120 to $150 billion. We're essentially witnessing the birth of an entirely new industry.
Can you break down the statistics for our audiences?
Absolutely. So Europe specifically, in 2022, we saw 1.9 gigawatts of new capacity installed. For 2023, the forecast jumped to 3.7 gigawatts. The growth trajectory is exponential.
That's remarkable growth. I remember when hitting even 1 gigawatt was a milestone. So which countries are leading the charge?
The UK is dominating with 1,512 megawatts of new installations, followed by Italy at 853 megawatts. France added 337 megawatts, Germany 215, Ireland 205, Lithuania 200, and Sweden 112 megawatts. It's fascinating to see countries like Lithuania and Ireland punching above their weight.
And I guess demand plays a huge role too, because as renewable energy adoption accelerates, the need for flexible storage skyrockets.
Precisely. The market has matured fast. A mix of policy support, private investment, and falling battery prices has created perfect conditions for rapid expansion.
Let's unpack why Europe is going all in on this. I know energy independence became a hot topic after the 2022 energy crisis.
Yes, that was a wake-up call. Europe realized it couldn't rely so heavily on imported fossil fuels. So, governments pushed to accelerate renewables and domestic storage solutions. Batteries became a strategic asset, not just a technical tool.
And the urgency goes beyond just the gas crisis. 2023 was a record year for extreme weather across Europe, wasn't it?
Absolutely. We saw record temperatures across Europe, devastating floods, and unprecedented wildfires. Meanwhile, Russian gas imports dropped by 80%, and energy prices spiked 15-fold in some markets. Storage became not just an environmental imperative, but an economic and security necessity.
That's an interesting shift from nice to have to national priority.
It surely is going towards that. And let's not forget the EU's Green Deal. The goal is to make Europe the first climate-neutral continent by 2050. To reach that, storage is essential. You can't have 100% renewables without something to balance supply and demand.
The policy response has been comprehensive. Can you walk us through some of the key initiatives?
The Repower EU plan is massive, targeting 45% renewable energy by 2030 with €800 million in direct investments. Then there's the Net Zero Industry Act, the Green Deal Industrial Plan, and the Critical Raw Materials Act. Each one is designed to reduce dependence on imports and build European battery manufacturing capacity.
Makes perfect sense. And the business side is booming too. private investors, energy startups, and even automakers are getting involved.
Yes. Companies that once focused purely on EV batteries are now diversifying into grid-scale storage. Tesla, Northvolt, and CATL all have major European projects underway.
Let's talk about battery tech for a minute. Lithium-ion still dominates, right?
It does, but innovation is moving fast. Lithium-ion remains the most cost-effective for now, but new chemistries like sodium-ion and solid-state batteries are entering the market. They promise lower costs, better safety, and longer lifespans.
Let's dig deeper into the technology landscape. You mentioned lithium-ion dominates. What's the breakdown?
Lithium-ion represents about 95% of current utility-scale installations. It offers the best combination of energy density, cycle life, and declining costs. But we're seeing exciting alternatives emerge. Sodium-ion batteries for low-cost applications, flow batteries for long-duration storage, compressed air systems, gravity batteries, and even sand batteries for thermal storage.
And the capacity projections are incredible. McKinsey forecasts 30% annual growth, reaching 4.7 terawatt-hours globally. That's an enormous technological scaling challenge. Interestingly, I've also heard about second-life batteries, reusing EV batteries for stationary storage.
Who would have thought about that? When an EV battery's performance drops below 80%, it might not be ideal for vehicles anymore, but it's still useful for stationary storage. Repurposing them cuts waste and cost.
That's such a clever use of resources. And it aligns perfectly with Europe's circular economy goals.
It does. Sustainability isn't just about producing clean energy. It's also about ensuring every part of the system is resource efficient.
Now, for every boom, there are challenges. What's holding Europe back from going even faster?
Good question. The first challenge is permitting. Getting grid-scale storage projects approved can take years. Each country has its own process, and as you know, bureaucracy slows deployment.
Right. That's a recurring theme in infrastructure projects.
Apart from that, there's also the issue of connectivity to the grid. In many regions, grids are outdated and weren't designed for two-way energy flows. Upgrading them is expensive and time-consuming.
And I assume supply chains for battery materials are still a concern.
Absolutely. Europe still relies on imports for lithium, nickel, and cobalt. There are efforts to localize production, for example, new battery factories in Sweden and France. But building that ecosystem takes time.
The supply chain challenges are even more complex than I initially thought. What specific bottlenecks are we seeing?
Regulatory fragmentation is a key blocker. Each EU country has different approval processes. Then there's price volatility. Lithium carbonate prices jumped 122% recently. We're also seeing intense competition with EV manufacturers. Volkswagen alone has massive battery procurement contracts that can affect entire supply chains.
So it's not just about adding batteries, it's about modernizing the entire energy system.
Let's not forget, there's market design, figuring out how to compensate storage fairly. Batteries provide valuable services like frequency regulation and peak shaving, but policies haven't always caught up to reward that properly.
Let's bring it to the ground level. What's changing for consumers and businesses as a result of this battery boom?
For consumers, we're seeing the rise of home batteries paired with rooftop solar. In countries like Germany, more households are installing small storage units that let them use their own solar power at night.
That's energy independence on a personal level.
True, for businesses, batteries are becoming a way to reduce energy costs and protect against blackouts. Large warehouses, factories, and data centers are installing on-site storage.
I read about a case in the UK where a commercial chain used battery systems to manage energy spikes, saving thousands in grid fees.
Speaking of real projects, there are some impressive installations happening. FRV just completed their clay tie project in the UK for 99 megawatts, 198 megawatt hours using 52 Tesla megapacks. And Italy is planning 17.7 billion euros in storage investments.
And companies like RWE are developing multiple utility-scale projects across Europe. The Contego project is another impressive example of how quickly these installations are scaling up.
Yes, those kinds of applications make batteries more than just a climate tool. They're also an economic opportunity.
So what's next? Where is Europe's battery storage story headed in the next 5 to 10 years?
We're going to see scale, and lots of it. Analysts predict that by 2030, Europe could have over 200 gigawatt hours of installed battery capacity. That's a massive leap from today.
Those are ambitious targets. What's the investment picture looking like?
Massive. There are 95 gigawatts of storage projects planned across Europe, representing about 70 billion euros in investment. The technology is also evolving. We expect 4-plus-hour duration systems to comprise 60% of installations by 2050, compared to just 22% in 2025.
That's incredible. And with more renewables coming online, that capacity will be absolutely essential.
Yes, the future energy system will be flexible, distributed, and smarter. Digital management systems, AI-based forecasting, and vehicle-to-grid technologies will all play roles in balancing the network.
So, batteries aren't just sitting there waiting to discharge. They're actively managed assets in a dynamic system.
Well, they'll support everything from stabilizing frequency to enabling microgrids in rural or remote areas.
Before we wrap up, how does Europe stack up globally? Are they leading the race or catching up?
Good question. China is currently ahead in battery production and deployment, largely because of its scale and supply chain control. But Europe is catching up fast, especially with its focus on sustainability and regional autonomy.
So it's less about who's ahead and more about building resilience and independence.
It's part of national strategy for most nations. Europe's goal isn't to outpace China, it's to ensure a secure, green, and self-sufficient energy system. That's a long-term play.
I like that. It's a more balanced, strategic approach.
If we step back, the battery boom shows how quickly innovation can scale when policy, technology, and investment align. Just 5 years ago, this kind of progress seemed impossible.
True. It's a great example of how collaboration between governments, companies, and consumers can accelerate real change.
That's the goal. As costs continue to fall, we'll see storage become an invisible but vital part of daily life, powering everything from your home appliances to entire cities.
I love that. Invisible but vital. Batteries might not get the spotlight, but they're the backbone of the clean energy era. That's all for today's episode. Thanks, Omar. It was a pleasure unpacking the battery energy revolution taking place in Europe with you.
Thanks, Alex. And I'd just add, this is happening right now, not in some distant future. These technologies are being deployed today, transforming Europe's energy landscape as we speak.
You've been listening to Jameel Cast, the official podcast of Abdul Latif Jameel. For more insights and conversations shaping our future, follow us wherever you get your podcasts or visit alj.com to read our Perspectives articles. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay curious.